Should we go for a walk? Walkies! Off we go. Good morning, happy day 8 of Vlogmas. I can't believe we've been doing this for over a week already. I'm just out for a walk with Rupert. So Rupert does this thing sometimes, which I'm always nervous that he's going to do when I take him on a walk, where he just like stops and won't move. He hasn't done it so far yet today, so I'm really hoping that he doesn't, because sometimes I'll be standing with him for like 15 minutes hoping that he's going to decide that he's ready to carry on with the walk. The plan for today is another fairly quiet day. What are we on? Wednesday. I've got like a couple more fairly quiet days in my life, and then come Saturday everything's just going to get really busy, and it's going to be into the like whole visiting people, socializing side of preparing for Christmas. And I'm starting my new job obviously on Monday as well, so I'm really just soaking in these last few days of comparative peace and quiet. It's so nice to be out on this dog walk. I really love going out for walks, and it's something I'm just not that good at doing with no purpose. It's like one of the many reasons why I would like a dog is the fact that it forces you to get out of the house and go on a walk a couple of times a day, which is just super nice. Oh, there's loads of dogs coming. Let's just take a pause. Another reason that I would really love a dog is just like their positive energy, and this kind of ties into today's prompt. Let's use that as a transition into talking about today's prompt. This is not a word that you would necessarily associate with a dog, but I'm going to go for it. Today's prompt is dignity. One of Tom's brothers described to me how it was really important to him in life that he was the sort of person who would speak in the same way to a cleaner as to a king. And to me, that is kind of the definition of dignity. It's about being true to yourself, not kind of changing the core of who you are in order to fit in with other people, and yet at the same time managing to strike that balance of meeting people in the middle so that everybody you interact with feels like you value them and you see the good in them, whilst you are at the same time remaining fully true to yourself. With that definition of dignity, I feel like dogs are quite dignified because they interact with literally everybody and they're always themselves, and unless they're like a violent dog, they're always also lovely to everybody, and that's kind of how I strive to be. So the first part of my prompt was reflecting on things about yourself which you are rightfully proud of. I feel like this is an exercise that we could all do with doing more frequently. The features which I like about myself, and in this sense I guess I am quite good at getting on with everybody. It's just that like I'm quite laid back. I don't really make enemies. Like I tend to just get along fine with everybody. I really do try and see the best in people, and I think I'm fairly successful at that. Like I feel like there's always something good that I can find in people. The flip side of getting along with everybody and not arguing is just an aversion to conflict, and so I think I sometimes fall down on the staying true to myself part, and it's really important to me that I am good at, for example, like not falling into saying unkind things about people behind their backs, and I also class in that like saying nothing when other people are being unkind. So I really want to be better at calling people out if they're being mean. There have been a few times in my life where I've walked out of a room where people have been saying things which I think are really unkind, as opposed to contributing to them or like being seen to contribute by my silence. But that's something that I'm continually working on. I'd be super intrigued to hear about what dignity means to you. There were some really interesting comments on the Grace vlog that I did. I got some really lovely new ideas that kind of expanded my own thoughts on grace and what that means to me in my life. So dignity, I feel, is another one of these words which is quite nebulous and might mean different things to different people, so I'll be fascinated to hear about what it means to you. apologise for this very pale ghostly lighting, and you might even be able to hear the wind howling at the windows. It really, really does howl in this room, like it sometimes sounds quite creepy. Today has been a very quiet day, just one of those days that turned into a quiet day. Tom's parents had some guests round for lunch, and so we had a long, leisurely lunch chatting to them, which was really nice. I spent the afternoon editing and uploading yesterday's video. We just had dinner together. That brings me up to pretty much now. I thought I'd make this a bit more of a chatty video and share my Spotify Wrapped, because who doesn't want to nosy into other people's Spotify Wrapped? And this kind of comes with like a call for help on how to use Spotify effectively, because although I do quite enjoy the music that I listen to on Spotify, I just feel like I have not got any form of organisation. I feel like I end up listening to quite limited music because Spotify kind of hones in, you know, like you listen to something and then it generates your playlists around that, and then you just end up listening to more and more of that genre. And I basically like most genres of music. Like I really enjoy everything from classical to like heavy rock and roll, but I don't end up listening to a range of genres at all on Spotify. Whereas my parents, who don't have Spotify, they just use CDs, listen to like a real range of music, and they're constantly getting new music that like they hear on the radio or they've seen off TV, and then they buy the album and they have like loads and loads of CDs in the house and they listen to them. They have a system, they have like a 5 CD player in the kitchen, which I know is really old school, and every once in a while they change the 5 albums over. I just feel like they do music so much better than the way that I do music. So if you have like a way in which you use Spotify, or a way in which you organise Spotify to help you listen to a range of music, I would be really intrigued to hear that, because I always end up getting stuck in kind of one thing, and I really wish that I was using it to listen more widely. And I also keep intending to do this, but again, don't find it as easy to do on Spotify as with a CD. I really want to listen to more albums because I love listening to music as albums. I do think that like albums in and of themselves are often really well put together works of art, and just listening to random stuff in playlists isn't the same. Anyway, that aside, my top artist of the year was Newton Faulkner, who I do really, really like, and I also know that he's top artist because I went to watch him live with my dad, which was so fun. He was so good live. Like amazing kind of folk acoustic guitar-y stuff, loads of audience participation. It was glorious. So my most listened to song was a song called Together by him, which is off his new album, and then he was my most listened to artist, which I know is because when I go and see somebody live, I always make a real effort to listen to loads of their music first, because I just think it enhances the experience of seeing them live so much. My top genres, which don't surprise me, but are also evidence of why I kind of want to somehow work out how to listen more widely to stuff on Spotify, are Celtic, dance pop, folk pop, indie folk and boy band, which is quite reflective of my like niche love of Scottishy, Celtic-y, folky music, and the fact that I just always fall back into like 90s noughties tunes that I grew up with and still love. I unashamedly still listen to S Club 7 and Westlife on a regular basis, and I'm a big fan. Put my top 5 songs up. They were again mostly the like folk Scottishy vibes, plus Taylor Swift made it into the top 5, which I'm happy about. Love Taylor Swift. And then my audio aura, which I did think was really fun, was Wistful and Cozy, which is very pleasantly reflective of the vibe of this YouTube channel. I don't know how accurate it is for my musical taste, however, I guess I do often have quite wistful, cozy music playing in the background if I'm going to use Spotify as background music. So yeah, that's my Spotify Wrapped summary. Would be very intrigued if any of you guys want to share any of your Spotify Wrapped facts from the last year. For all the rest of tonight, I really, really want to finish Wind in the Willows. I'm about halfway through. I've hardly done any reading because I've been doing Vlogmas and it's been taking up most of the time, but I am so enjoying the Wind in the Willows, and I'm kind of missing reading because I haven't been doing it in as bigger chunks as I usually would do, so that's kind of my plan for the rest of the evening. So it's about 9:30. I just finished The Wind in the Willows and I so enjoyed it. It was such a beautiful, charming, whimsical book and really, really perfect for this time of year. Interestingly, I have read it before, but the stuff that I really enjoyed this time reading it as an adult was completely different to what I remember enjoying as a child. So the main storyline that I had remembered from childhood was all the stuff to do with Toad, which is quite silly and funny. And that was probably my least favourite part of reading it as an adult. What I really loved was the friendship between Mole and Ratty, which I think I had zero interest in as a child. Just all of the like charming country descriptions, and probably my favourite part of the book was this really beautiful spiritual depiction of dawn and of nature kind of protecting its own. Overall, would highly recommend. It's a kind of book that's like perfect for any time of year because it goes through the year, and so it has different chapters for all of the different seasons, but the wintry seasonal chapters were just absolutely perfect for this time of year, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm going to sign off there for today. Hope that you're doing really well. Take care, and I will see you tomorrow. Good night.